Hey guys, welcome to the call today. See, we have Mukhtar with us and Michelle. Hey guys, welcome. Excellent. To the call today. Let's turn that off. All right. How are you today? Mukhtar, how are you? Sorry, Mukhtar, you'll need to turn your microphone on. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Actually, I'm fine. Actually, I was looking the link and again and
so
again
you
checking
found the link
my.
because you're here, so you found the link. So
Yeah.
Good job. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Great, great. What's new in Pakistan?
Pakistan. Well, there is problems with the politicians all the time in Pakistan, and they never stop to play the dirty games.
Well, I think that's true everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What else is new with you?
Well, I'm in my office and I'm working, and this is the closing time 8 to 5 when there is 8 a.m. in the morning in USA, and here the time is 5 p.m. So I'm just waiting for the call in my office to attend the meeting.
Great. Well, welcome. And Michelle, how are you today?
Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you for having me here once again.
Great. What's new in Brazil?
Well, the election month is finally over, but here in Brazil was last month actually. But in general, people are keep going crazy. I mean, we're in a very chaotic situation, unfortunately. But I stay out of it.
I see. All right. And I see, okay, Cecilia has just joined us. Melissa has just joined us. All right, great. Welcome, everybody. So today we are talking about how long it takes to learn English. How long does it really take to learn English? Right, because a lot of people are confused about this. A lot of people think they can learn English in a month or in 2 months or in 1 year and it's not only about English, right? It's about any language, really. It's very difficult to learn a language and be fluent, to be very good at it in a short period of time. So let's talk about that a little bit. You know, usually when we ask this question, how long does it take to learn English? We mean that we are starting from zero, usually, right? That's what people think. If you're starting from zero to fluent, how long does that take? So that's really a difficult question and maybe a strange question, because it takes your whole life, I think. Even people who grow up speaking English, they keep learning English. They keep learning more and more. So language is something that you never really finished learning. And I think a lot of people who try to learn English want to see that there's a final point, that there's a place where they finish learning English. And again, it's not only about English, it's about other languages too. So, okay, I see people are joining us on YouTube, and great. Thanks everybody for watching today. Just to remind everybody who is not live on the call with us, you can be part of these calls too if you come and join our global community. So in the chat, I'm going to just send a link, and you can follow this link and you can join the group for your country. You should only join one group for your country, for one country. If you are from one country and you live in a different country, then join the country where you live. So just one. And the goal is to have people from different countries who can discuss topics about English and about learning English. And our project has just started a couple weeks ago. It started, and in the near future, we'll talk more about some opportunities for the people who are representing their country. Cecilia, hi, welcome.
Morning. Hello. Hi there. Morning, Chris.
Good morning. So what's new in Mexico?
Well, I give classes and lessons daily. That's the only thing I do. That's my everyday, just classes and classes and classes.
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel like that too.
Yeah.
I guess it's a new day in Mexico. It's early there.
Yeah, I wasn't in the same schedule as you. That's why. Sorry for that.
Mm-hmm. So what's new with you personally?
Well, just trying to memorize a little bit more about well, not memorize, trying to be familiarized more with the sounds in English. That's one of my goals, because if I can really understand them, I can really teach them. I said that last time, that our alphabet, it's pretty much the same, but it's tricky, but it's because it's not. So that's what I'm trying to do the latest days, to get more familiarized every day with the IPA and the sounds. If I understand them more, then I can teach them better. That's my latest goal I've been trying to accomplish.
Wow. Okay. So practicing sounds and pronunciation.
Yeah. Yes, it's pretty important. Yeah, because if they're gonna try to reproduce English with our alphabet, that's why it sounds kind of weird or strange, no? But another thing that I discovered is that if they can reproduce those sounds, they can recognize them when they hear them. And so that's helping me a lot and changing a lot of my lessons, because I've been teaching for about 4 or 5 years, but my latest classes are much, much better since I discovered those topics. And I will recommend a lot if the other teachers do the same, no?
Yeah, great. So how long do you think it takes for someone to learn English?
Okay, as you said, it depends a lot on the pace. If they spend 30 minutes daily, at least, and if they memorize, I don't know, 5 or 10 words daily, in that pace, they will probably be level A1 or A2 in a year, with that pace. And maybe B2, I mean, B1 in 2 years, and maybe B2 in 3 or 4 years. That will be my opinion. But following that pace, if they don't have any habits, they don't spend time exposing themselves to English, no, well, never. No. They need to have at least a goal to have certain pace. And with that, I saw in some of my students in a year, they can be at least level 1, 2. So I never help anyone to be B2, but in my consideration, if they follow and continue the same pace, they will finish in 3 or 4 years, with the technology that we have available, and I forgot the word. The ability of the se me olvidó la palabra. I forgot the word. To have that they can get in contact with YouTube channels, teachers, and stuff like that. That will help them a lot, because when I learned English, we didn't have internet, we didn't have cell phones or any technology. So it took me about 8 years or more to learn it. But with all the technologies that we have right now, there's a big chance you can learn in 3 or 4 years.
Right. Okay, cool. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Melissa and Roshan, when you're ready to join us, you can turn your camera on and you can speak too. Mukhtar, what do you think about using technology to learn English? Or to learn any language? Does technology make it easier?
Well, Chris, I think that if technology helps to learn some language, then nobody needs live training or speaking practice. I mean, why we are here in front of you? Because technology doesn't, I think, help much. I mean, you can learn different words in your language. You can translate them and you can have them in English. But as far as I think learning English process is speaking is much essential thing for this. And I think that 1 or 2 hour daily speaking practice can enhance the ability of understanding speaking. This is my point of view.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe if all we needed was technology, then we wouldn't need live training, teachers, maybe. And I think for some people, that's all that they need. Like, some people travel to another country and they use their phone and they go to Google Translate and they talk and they say, I want a cheeseburger. And then they press play and they play the words in a different language. And that's all they need, right? So for some people, maybe that is enough. Maybe they don't need to, but I don't think that they're learning English. In that case, you're not learning the language, right? You're just using technology to help you communicate in that language, but you're not learning the language if you use technology like that. So I guess, that's a good point, that technology can help us with a lot of things. Like, technology can connect us today. So in some ways, technology does help us learn languages better or faster. But technology isn't the only thing that we need. That's good. Yeah. Okay, I see Nastani is with us. Hi, Nastani. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm fine.
So
hello, everybody.
What's new in Georgia?
It's nothing special, I guess. The weather is nice, but maybe nothing special.
Nothing special. What about for you in your life? What's new?
Everything is the same. Nothing, just work like this.
Are you at work now?
Yes, I'm working now, and I have 30 minutes break, and I join you.
Well, don't forget to eat.
No, yes, I have time to. Thank you.
So the question today is, how long does it really take to learn English? What do you think? What do you think, Nastani? How long does it take for a person to learn
Maybe
English?
it takes for your life because it's your like other language. When you are foreigner and you're a native speaker, you need to improve all time. For example, when I have long time to don't talk about English and I don't use English, I recognize that I forget something and I think more and more to share some my mind, and it's hard to. And again and again, I need to improve my skills. So I think all your life is, maybe it's all other profession is the same. If you are a doctor, you need to learn and study and something new, because everything is going and development, everything developing, and you need something. Because I know some, because one Georgian girls grow up other country and she don't know Georgian language, and she decided to study, and her teacher also was immigration immigrant, and she don't know Georgian very well, just she talked past time how Georgian past time talk. And when she returned back and she wanted to something in Georgian, she speaks or use all old words, and people was confused how she talked. And it was very funny. And when she recognized that this Georgia, what she studied, and now nobody used these words, and he was surprised and confused. And like it's the same if you study Shakespeare time and now use these words, maybe nobody understood what you mean.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thanks. Yeah, I think it's interesting to hear, in your country, when you meet someone from a different place, it can be really interesting to hear how that sounds, because I think it's important for people to know that they sound different, strange, funny. They need to learn something to try to improve, because when we speak our first language, we don't have to do that. So or we don't usually think about that, right? And so it's good to understand how other people might hear us. And when we hear people from other countries speak our language, it helps remind us that we always need to keep learning. Great. Sumitra, hello today. How are you?
Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone. I'm all good. How are you all?
Great, great. So what's new in Nepal?
Nothing really. Just that Dasai and PR festivals just over, and we got back to our normal daily life, like daily office work and all.
Mm-hmm.
And election is going on. Yeah, not going on. It's I think it's on 4th of Kartik. It means about a week after there will be our election.
Lots of people are talking about elections right now.
Yeah.
Cool. So our question today is, how long do you think it takes to learn English?
I think it depends upon like the person itself and what kind of course. Actually, in Nepal, we have IELTS course, academy, and some people take English course to go abroad. And in English studying school, like in English schools, our children learn from very beginning, from pre-primary level. So we have not like particular certain time for like learning English, but for English A level, it takes 2 years and some 6 years course, 6-month course, and some like 2-3 months course are available there.
Mm-hmm. So do you think someone can learn English in 2 or 3 months?
Not really, because like it's really like it depends on your basic language and everything, and what particular, like how much you want to learn, for what purpose you want to learn. So I think all those things matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of factors that you have to
Exactly.
consider.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Thanks, Sumitra. So when we talk about how fast you can learn English, I think there are some words that are important to also talk about, right? For example, fluent. The word fluent, the word fluency. What does that really mean? Because people have a different idea of what that means in different places and in different groups. Another important word is proficiency, right? Let me just share the screen here. So fluent, this is an adjective. Fluency, this is a noun. Proficiency, this is a noun. Or to be proficient, adjective, right? So these are some words that we might use to talk about knowing the language, right? When we say, how long does it take to learn the language? Well, how do we know if we have learned it or not? Right? How do we know if when do we know that we learned it and now we're finished, or we learned it and now we know it well enough, good enough, or that we need to keep learning, right? So we usually use these words, fluent or proficient, to be fluent and to be proficient. So what does that really mean? Well, let's first talk about what's the difference first, right? To be proficient in the language means that you can do some tasks, you can do things, you can do some actions. So being proficient is like being good enough, right? A lot of times when we talk about different levels of English or languages, we might say like beginner, pre-intermediate, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, proficiency. And so proficient is like a level above advanced. So proficient really is connected to, having a very high level and knowing the language well enough to do some things. Being fluent is a little different, and fluent is more about like sounding natural, about the flow of the language, right? About sounding right, about speaking quickly enough, or putting the words together in the right ways, right? So being proficient is more about your ability to do some things, and being fluent is more about being natural and being correct in some group, I guess. Being able to communicate. So being fluent is more about communication, right? But both of these words are used to talk about how well we know the language and how well we can speak the language. And a lot of people use these words. But something that's interesting is that different groups of people have different ideas about what it means to be fluent. So I can tell you, for example, here in the United States, if I am with a group of people who don't speak any other languages, they only speak English. If I'm talking to these people, if I know 20 words in Spanish, then they will say that I know Spanish. And that's funny because with 20 words, you can't say a lot. But to a group of people who have studied Spanish for 1 year, if I know 20 words, they'll say, oh, you don't know Spanish, right? In a group of people who have studied for 1 year, they'll know a lot more and they can say more. But the group of people who have studied for 1 year, when they meet somebody who lived in Spain for 4 years, well, that person who lived in Spain for 4 years will say, oh, you don't know Spanish. You studied Spanish for 1 year in the United States, but you don't know Spanish, right? You're not fluent. And so that person will say, oh, you don't really know a lot of Spanish and you're still learning, right? And then if you're with a group of people from the United States who lived in Spain for 4 years, and that group of people meets native Spanish people are going to say, you don't know Spanish. You're not fluent. You have an accent. You know a lot of words, you know a lot of grammar, but you have an accent. Sometimes you say the wrong words in the wrong places, right? So I think it's good to remember that, because you can always find a group of people who know English better than you, and you can always find a group of people who know English worse than you, right? Who don't know English as well as you know it. There's always people who are better and people who are worse. And about being fluent, it's the same. I mean, for example, I teach English to people on this YouTube channel. I teach English on my website, but if I meet university professors of English in the United States, they talk about different things than I talk about with you, right? Like learning English as a second language is different than learning English as a first language at school, for example. So when English speakers learn English at school, they talk about different things. They don't talk about present perfect and phrasal verbs and pronunciation. They talk about something completely different. And that's because everyone thinks that they know the basics, and they're trying to talk about something very advanced that really people only use in some special situations, right? And so that's what they're talking about. Or they're talking about how to write with a special style, or how to study a special type of literature, right? They're focusing on something very, very specific. And when we study English as a foreign language or as a second language, we have to learn different topics. We have to talk about different things. So I can find people who are more fluent, and I can find people who are less fluent. And you can do the same with your language, with English. So there's not really a place where we stop, right? Because also, think about this. Think about a different idea about fluency. Maybe if we try to say, okay, Queen of England or King of England, he has the highest fluency of English. This is the correct English, maybe, right? Let's imagine that we say this, okay? Well, even that person will not sound very fluent when they meet some groups of people from some places, because those people will speak about different topics, will have a different accent, and will use different words. So even the person who has a very high level with one group might not have a high level with another group, and these might all be English speakers, right? They might all be people who grew up speaking the same language. They might think that the other person doesn't sound very natural, doesn't sound very fluent in their group. So that's why for fluency, it's important for you to understand which group you want to be part of. And I think that that starts with understanding which regional accent or dialect. So, for example, British English, North American English, American English, Australian English, different big categories of English, right? But then inside of those categories, there are some regions, some areas where people speak differently also. In the north part of England, they speak a lot differently than they speak in London. In Ireland, they speak a lot differently. In the United States, people in New York speak a lot differently than people in Alabama. So it's the same thing that when people from different places go to a different group, go to a different location, people might think that they're different. They have an accent. They might think that they're not fluent. They're not natural in this group, right? So they will sound different. So it's just important to think about that when you think about yourself and trying to be fluent. So how long does it really take to learn the language? Well, you really learn a group. You learn a group of people, right? You learn an accent and one group of people. You learn that. You don't really learn a whole language to 100%. You learn a special group. So I think we need to think about that differently. So real quickly, before we talk to a few more people here, let's just make sure everybody understands the difference between study, learn, and know. To study the language or to study something, to learn the language, and to know the language, right? What does this mean? So to study means to practice. So for example, I open a book, a grammar book, and I say, okay, this is the rule. I'm studying English. Learn is the process of changing from not knowing to knowing. This is learn. This is what learn means. And when we say we know, it means that we have this information, right? Have this information. Practice means, study means we practice this information. So this is the difference. This is important because in the present tense, in the present in English, we might say, I'm studying English. We might say, I'm learning English. And both of these are okay. Both of these are okay in the present tense. But when we talk about the past or the future, it's different. It's very different. I studied English yesterday, for example. I learned English yesterday, or in the future. I will study English tomorrow, or I will learn English tomorrow. So why are they different? This is the same. This is okay. This is not correct. This is not correct. Why? Because, okay, study is practice. So right now, I'm practicing. Yesterday, I practiced. Tomorrow, I will practice, right? But learn is when we don't know. And after we learn, now we know. This is what learn means. So right now, I'm learning I didn't know something, and now I know it, and then I didn't know something else, and now I know it. I'm learning right now. But yesterday, if I say I learned English yesterday, this means yesterday, at the beginning of yesterday, I didn't know English, and at the end of yesterday, I know English. Now I know English. But you can't learn the language in one day, right? You can't change from not knowing the language to knowing the language in one day. You can't do that. So it's not logically correct to say, I learned English yesterday. We can say, I studied English yesterday. That's okay. But I learned English yesterday. That's not possible. The same with tomorrow. I will learn English tomorrow. It means at the beginning of tomorrow, you don't know the language, and at the end, you do. No, you can't do that in one day. So logically, you cannot learn the language in one day, right? We can say, I learned new English words yesterday. Yes. I learned 2 new words yesterday. Okay. I will learn 3 new words tomorrow. Okay. Yes, you can do that in one day. But you can't learn the whole language in one day. So that's why today we're just talking about how long it takes to learn English. So Roshan, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. So this is my first time joining your session. We have taken 1 hour class during the pandemic time from your website, I suppose. And I'm from Nepal, and Sumitra is my friend, and she suggested me today to join the Zoom session.
Great. Well, thank you and welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So what do you think about this idea? How long does it take to learn English?
I believe it depends on the person's level of English and his hard work and consistency towards learning the English language. So if you just want to learn few words, it might take 2 or 3 months to communicate with other people in public area. But if you want to have organize a seminar, or you want to go abroad and talk to in English every day, so for that you might need more than years, or 2 years or 3 years. Sometimes if you dedicate 5 or 6 hours learning English, then you can learn in 2 or 3 months. But I believe at last it depends on your consistency in practicing English, and always the hard work pays off.
Yeah. So in 2 or 3 months, if you're very consistent and you work hard, how much English can you learn?
You can touch the basic level.
Basic level.
Maybe you will be at A1 or A2 level.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, if you talk about there are 4 modules, obviously: speaking, reading, listening. So every day you have to go through the listening podcast or speaking with random people. So at that time, I believe you can go up to A1 or A2.
You said something interesting. Thank you, Roshan. You said something very interesting just now about speaking with random people. And so, on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere on the internet, I see people always writing some comments or posting something. Someone speak with me, please. I need to find someone to speak with me. Please speak with me now. And in my experience, usually the person just posts this one time and then forgets about it, and then disappears for 2 months, and then they come back and they post the same thing again. But I think, there's something about fluency. When we talk about being fluent in the language, time, like how long you study the language and how long you speak with other people, I think that this helps you to be more fluent. It's not the time itself, but it's the relationship with the person. Because when you meet a person the first time, you usually speak differently and you speak about different things than when you speak with if you speak with the same person for a month or 2 months or 3 months, then you start to have a connection, you start to have more of a relationship, you already know some information about each other, and you start to speak differently, right? So I think that growing a relationship in a language with a person, that this is part of the skills that we learn to be fluent. And so when you meet the next person and the next person and the next person, you already know how to make the relationship in that language, how to grow the relationship in that language. And this is part of being fluent, right? Because if you meet a person for the first time and then you just start trying to use all of the different words that you learned, this is strange. There's some words that you use the first time you meet, and there's some words that you don't use. And so this can be, this can make someone sound unnatural or not fluent if they just spit out lots of words the first time they meet someone. Roshan, you wanted to say something else?
Regarding the things what you have just told us, I totally agree with you. So in that purpose, talking with random person, I generally follow this rules or situation to understand the accent of different people. So people from north part and people from south part, they might have the different accent. So I would be able to understand their accent. And regarding fluency, in the past time, I was using various English applications, which is freely available, which helped me to get connected with random people. But at that time, what I faced every time I found a new person. So we generally say hi, hello, how are you? Where are you from? About your profession. That's the thing. But after that, we have started talking on a specific topic. At that time, we forget the words. So I believe to be more fluent, as you have just told, so we need to talk on a specific topic on the regular basis with our nearest one, or after building the relationship, then that could help us to deliberate our thoughts easily.
Yeah, definitely. And so another thing for us to think about is that maybe being fluent in the language or knowing the language, maybe this is not really about correct grammar and pronunciation, but maybe this is about your goal, the result that you want to get from using the language. Because sometimes a person who knows a lot of words, they just talk and talk and talk, and we don't know what they want. And sometimes a person who doesn't know a lot of words can just say the right words and go step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, now we have the results. Right? So I think that this is also part of being fluent in the language. It's about knowing why you're speaking and what you want to get from speaking, right? Because I think just speaking to speak, it's not so interesting, right? It's not so helpful. Usually people speak because they want to communicate something for a reason, and get a result. And when there's a result from the conversation, from our communication, this is successful communication. But when there's no result, then people feel frustrated. I just talked for an hour with no result. That doesn't feel good. But if you talk for 15 minutes and you get a result, everybody feels good. Or at least someone who got a result feels good. Let's see, Josh, that's right. Josh, hi. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Good, good. So what's new there?
So yeah, I mean everything it's good in here right now. I thought I wasn't going to be able to join, to be honest, because I have some things to do very early in the morning, but it's okay. And
I'm glad
yeah,
you're here.
yeah, thank you. And talking about the topic, actually, that's something very interesting because, I mean, yeah, the thing is that, for example, in my case, I mean, it took me a long time to be fluent, but also it's because, well, there are other things in there. For example, I was pretty shy, you know, so I was a shy person and didn't want to talk to, I mean, not even in my native language. So I couldn't establish communication with anyone else because I was shy, right? So when I started learning English, so I remember I was good at writing, reading, you know, listening, but the speaking part was hard because of these problems, right?
Mhm.
That's the reason why it took me more time to become fluent, right? So I mean, I remember I started learning when I was in college, and I was about to finish college, and I wasn't able to speak the language, and the thing is, I studied English teaching, and so I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna be able to speak to my students or something. So I freaked out, to be honest. But suddenly I was like, no, I mean, I really want to. So my goal, as you were talking about goals, right? So
Yeah.
my goal was to speak English also, I mean, for teaching my students in the future, also for because I wanted to talk to people, you know, like I'm doing right now, you know, talking to people from any parts of the world. And I wanted to know more about their culture, more about the things they do in other countries, right? So that was my goal, to be able to talk to many people, not only in my country, but outside, right? And so I started just to learn. I pushed myself in this case to start practicing or studying, and so I finally could reach that level of fluency, not the fluency I have right now, but I was a bit better, like in 3 or 4 months. Yes, I was able to talk to people and to communicate, to express my ideas, right? And but yeah, this is at least that's my experience. But of course, I think as Roshan said, so it depends on the person, right? So also I mean, because there are some people, they say, I want to speak English, but they don't want to study, they don't want to practice, or also because they have other issues, like they're shy people, or they don't have, well, like they work a lot and they don't have time to practice or something, and it takes more time. There are some other people, they have more time, or they are eager, you know, to learn more things, and that helps them to be fluent maybe in 3 months or 6 months, right? So yeah, that's what I believe.
Awesome. So it takes, okay, I see Sumitra wants to say something about this too. Hi, Sumitra, again.
Yes, hello. Regarding like speaking and all, I think learning English, I just want to share my own experience, because like how hungry are you? Like till my grade 8, grade 10th study, at that time, till then, like I was not good at English. I was not able to like understand, read properly, let's say. And after that, just on my own like hard work and all, like how hungry you are, I think that also matters a lot. And from my childhood, I was very much fond of English, you know, like though I didn't get it 100% correct, but I used to like to read, watch movies, English movies, and used to listen English songs. And from those activities helped me a lot to learn English. And lately, like I just improve gradually, let's say. So I think how hungry you are, how much your patience regarding learning English is also a very essential point.
Yeah.
Regarding learning English.
How hungry you are, meaning like how motivated you are, right?
Motivated you are, yes.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, different people have different motivation. And so some people can learn a lot faster with lots of motivation. And if you don't have motivation, it takes a really long time or maybe never
Yes.
will happen.
And what I feel is like when you just learn language in early age, I think that's really, really important. Till the age of 5, I think you can learn much faster, and you can learn a lot compared to when you just reach adulthood, and lately, like after like 16, 17.
Mhm.
Early age is really great. And it's really important because basic language and everything you learn in your early age, and that helps you till lately, it really helps later in the future.
I agree. Definitely. Thank you, Sumitra. Let's talk to Erlita. Erlita, hi.
Hi, sir. I'm from Indonesia.
Indonesia. Great.
Yes. Actually, I'm so hungry for I can speak in bahasa in English language, but I just still learn. For I really want to be interpreter.
An interpreter.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And you said that you speak Bahasa.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. That's your first language. Great. And so how long have you been studying English?
I'm studying English from I'm school at the um primary high school, but it's not every day. It's just um once a week.
Once a week. Mhm.
Yes.
And are there a lot of people to practice English with in where you live in Indonesia?
Yes, much people, but all of them have a course in like English first.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but it's so expensive, I think. So I just see the YouTube and I see this YouTube and I try to learn.
Great. Great. All right. Well, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you,
And
sir.
good luck with continuing your English studies. All right. I see a few more people have joined us now. Salia has joined us. Jinabu has joined us. Great. So whenever if you turn on your camera, then you'll be able to speak with us too. Salia, it looks like maybe your camera's on, but we can't see you. Or maybe there you are. Hi, Salia. Hi, just switch on your microphone and then we will hear you. There you go. Hi, can you come closer to the microphone? It's difficult to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
That's a little better. Yeah.
Little better.
Oh,
Right.
that's better. Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm from Sri Lanka, Chris. Yeah,
Sri Lanka, great.
Sri Lanka. This is very interesting topic. Hello.
Yes, I hear you. It's an interesting topic.
Interesting topic. and the explanation of your studied and learned very much interesting and very clearly explained you.
You said that can you say that again?
Your explanation of studied and learned, the examples, very interesting, Chris. And you have explained clearly that the examples you have given is very clear.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that it's clear for you.
Yep. And what do you think the Sri Lankan English and the do you know the country? Have you heard that?
Oh yeah, of course. I haven't been to Sri Lanka,
You haven't
but
been to Sri Lanka yet.
no, I haven't. But yeah, we've had a lot of students from different countries. For example, here, I'll show you. For example, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So let's see, where was our student from Sri Lanka? Let's see, we've had a few people from Sri Lanka join us. So yeah, we've had students from Sri Lanka here. Bante, he was one of our first students from Sri Lanka. And so yeah, I think a lot of people who live in Sri Lanka have really good English. Actually, they know English well.
Yeah, no, actually the 50 around 50% of the population, I think they learn English and they have learned English and they know English. But the problem is they are learning English only grammar, right?
Only grammar.
Only the grammar. But the problem is fluency.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
But students are trying to get the fluency, but there are limitations and there are a lot of barriers, and a lot of students do not know how to brush up their English. And but here we have the technology. We have the technology has been developed last few decades, and COVID period,
Yeah, during the COVID period, a lot of people went online to learn.
As habit, they improved to use the technology, and they are now using the technology. Now the problem is they don't know how to improve their pronunciation, how to speak fluently. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Salia. Thank you. Yeah, the technology is there. People use technology, but it's difficult to improve fluency and pronunciation because you need a person to speak with. And it's even better if there's someone who can help to correct you or help to give some advice, right? And sometimes it's difficult to find the person who can say it in an easy way, to help us understand it in an easy way. So yeah, I agree with you. Great. So before we continue, I just want to remind everybody what we're doing here. So every Wednesday at 8:00 a.m. New York time, we go live on this YouTube channel and we invite people from our global community. And I want to show you what that looks like. Right now, we have this community of people, and this is like a chat program where people from different countries can speak. So these are the countries where we have people who said that they want to participate, they want to join us. If you don't see your country here, then maybe we don't have anyone from your country here yet. But if you're watching, we would love to have you here. And these are chat groups, private chat groups in our community where we want to discuss what's happening in that country with English. And in the near future, we're also going to try to work with people who are active, like some of the people who you see today who are here. They're here every time. And those are people who I know are responsible, who are reliable. They come every time. And those are people who I might want to work with in the future. And so, for example, if we look at Brazil, right, we might go to this Brazil group and invite more people from the Brazil group here. And we're going to work on a special program for working with people who are in Brazil, helping to connect students and teachers in Brazil. And so this is our project, to have this representation in every country. So if you're watching and you want to be part of this, then you can go to our community groups and join there, or you can also get in touch with us. And I'll put our email address here, support@chrisamericos.com. This is our email address, so you can ask your questions there. And so, yeah, we like to work with people who we meet with more than one time, people who show us that they're reliable and participate. And so if this is something that you're interested in, then I'm interested to work with you and to really have you represent our online school in your country. Great. So, and one more thing before we continue. So maybe you don't know, or maybe you do. So, you know, I teach English online. I make these YouTube videos, but also we have a team of teachers and people who help put together lessons. We have lessons every day in this program called English Every Day. This is a speaking program where we speak live, face-to-face every day, like what we're doing now. And we have lessons. So these are some of the students who have joined before. Students who have been with us for some time, they get this, we send them this t-shirt in the mail, I Speak English t-shirt. For example, Marina from Russia, Wanhiba from Thailand, Mechi from Czech Republic, Iliel from Mexico. And so we have people from different places. Here's our calendar of lessons right now, and we keep adding more and more lessons. So these are all of the lessons that are speaking lessons. Someone in our program can join, and they can join all of these lessons. So it's unlimited. They can go to all of the lessons they want and practice speaking when they want. And we keep adding more and more times. So that's the main program where we work with students. And this is something that we want to make available in every country, and to make it at a price that people in many places can afford. And so, like I showed you before, we have students from, you know, a lot of different countries around the world who have joined this program. And that's because it's not too expensive. And yeah, we've been able to meet and work with a lot of people, even from Indonesia, and many other countries too. Great. So I don't want to talk too much about that, but that's our website. Those are our programs. And then also there's a program where I work with people one-on-one and individually. And this is about like I said before, results, not so much about language, but more about results, how we can use the language to get the results that we want. So if you're interested in that, you can go to our website, chrisamericos.com. Okay, that's enough about me. Jenabu, hi, welcome.
Hi,
Hi, where are you joining us from?
now I have been living in France,
Okay,
but I'm from Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
Yes,
And French is the main language in Burkina Faso. Right?
yes, French is our main language. And I have joined your English for 1 month.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very happy to be here with you,
Thank
even
you.
though I never gotten course with you especially, but I have class with other teachers every day, and I try to do my best to improve my English.
Great. Great. Well, do you think speaking practice helps you?
I don't have one response, but I try to read some books, and I have finished to read Stranger.
Stranger.
Yes, it's a little book.
The author is French, right? This was the book was originally French, no?
No, it's in English. Originally, okay, I don't know. And pronunciation is very difficult for me, because English and French are the same words, and
Yeah.
yes,
There are a lot of French words in English.
yes, a lot of French words, because English is 76% of French words. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for me, but I try to watch videos and podcasts to improve my pronunciation.
Great. Well, keep going. Don't give up.
Thank you.
This book, The Stranger, this is written by Albert Camus.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the original language of this book
Yes,
is French.
it's in French. Yes.
Cool. Actually, in the last 2 weeks, I've met a lot of people from Burkina Faso, and it's great that so many people are learning different languages and traveling outside of the country. And so why did you move to France?
Oh, I moved to France in 2017, and it's for my study, because I'm a PhD student in linguistics.
In linguistics,
yes.
Wow.
And but I found that even if French is the language is French, it's the same language of Burkina Faso, but if you want to become a great teacher or a great researcher, you have to publish in English. And so here the French speak French, but English is
The global language.
yes, is a global language for us, and I think it's very unfair for us.
Me too.
Because yes, because we are the same language, and we speak French because we are being colonized by French, but now France didn't want to speak in their own language, and they speak in English, and we also try to speak English, and I want to do my best to speak English also.
Well, you're doing a good job. I understand you very well.
Right.
Do you also speak other languages? Maybe like Dula or
Yes, Jula and More and Gurmanchema.
so
And,
you speak 5 languages right now?
you know, in Burkina Faso, we have 60 more than 60 languages. And every Burkinabe speak more than 5 or 6 languages. It's not fluency, but I understand more than 6 languages. Even though I can speak 3 or 4 languages very well. And I also speak German little because yes, I learned German for 2 years.
You studied German for 2 years?
Yes, studied German for 2 years. After that, I didn't do everything for German.
Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us today and
You are welcome.
Talking about this. And it's great that we have lots of people who are studying linguistics. You know, I think when you learn, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, when you learn a different language, you learn more about your first language too. Because every time you learn a new language, there's something that's a little different and you start to think, well, why is that different? And then you think about how it is in your language, and then you might find some rules in your language that you didn't know about before. And it's really, really interesting. Okay, so let's see, we have a few more people here. Melissa, I saw that you had your video on earlier. There we are. Melissa, hi, welcome. Just turn your, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I use another phone.
Good. Thanks. Welcome. Yeah. It's good to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you and to everyone here and to all viewers and listeners. Hello.
So, what do you think about this question? How long does it take to learn English?
It really takes time to learn English for me. And if you want to focus how to learn English, you need to speak always and talk to strangers like what others said, and reading books or watch some videos on YouTube, something like that. Joining us just like here to practice English. We're here to practice English, right? And the most important is always continue to learn English, even you're not at home or in class. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So do you think that you can learn English on YouTube?
Yes.
Just watching YouTube videos, you can learn English?
Yes, especially recently I watched your videos to learn more about English. Yes, and it's great about the pronunciation and how to know the for example, what is that? I forgot.
No problem. Well, thanks for watching.
Yes, it's great to watch your videos, and I will continue to watch it. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we recently decided that we're going to make a lot more YouTube videos. And so maybe you have seen that recently we posted some new videos. And so I have someone helping me with this now because I can't do it all by myself and work on all of the other projects that I have. So you can expect a lot more videos very soon.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us here.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. So let me just again share this with everyone. So this is the website where we teach students. This is chrisamericos.com. But I also want to share with you a couple other projects that we have. At teachingrevolution.com, we work with teachers who are starting businesses, teachers who are starting language schools, language centers in different countries or online. And this is where I personally work with teachers on the business side of teaching, because most teachers just think about how to make a good lesson and how to make a course, and then nobody sees it. Because you have to market this, you have to promote this, you have to show people this, right? That's how all of you found me, is that I spend a lot of time marketing, and that's what I do in my business a lot, is marketing, right? And, you know, I love teaching, but without also telling people how to find what I'm making and what I'm teaching, then I couldn't do that, right? So so this is about the business side of teaching. And I also have some other projects that you might not know about. For example, English for Ladies. This is a project that I started together with Chandresa. That's her on the website. And so she works just with women to help them with confidence in English, to help them with empowerment, like finding jobs, immigrating to other countries. And so usually the people who work with her have some goals like this. And so this is another project that we have. Also have a project of doing business English. And this is wespeakbusiness.com. So I have quite a few different projects that I do all the time. And so I just wanted to share that with you in case you're thinking, well, Chris, how hard is it to make a couple YouTube videos every week? I'm actually doing a lot of other stuff too. So, you know, I have this company and I have to manage the company. We have teammates, so they're helping with videos and YouTube. And then we have a team of teachers who teach live lessons every day, like I told everybody before. And then I also work with other teachers in different places around the world who are setting up businesses. So that's what I do all day. So now you know what I'm doing behind the computer all day when you don't see me. All right, let's see, who else was here? I saw Sheikh was here, but I guess he left. Rajni, hi.
Hi, hello.
Did I say your name correctly, Rajni, or is it Rani? Razni.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Where are you joining us from?
I'm from India.
What part of India?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any big cities near you?
Big cities near me is, I think it's Delhi.
Delhi. Uh-huh.
But currently I'm preparing for some exams, so I am now in northwest side, yeah. So near Delhi.
Okay. Cool. And what do you think? How long does it take to learn English?
I think it's lifelong journey because English is a language and it evolves every uh, day or every month. So it's, I think, lifelong journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because since childhood I am learning English, but the school in India, there is the way of teaching in schools, like we learn grammar so much, but we don't know how to use while speaking. So after schooling, I have started this speaking and listening a lot, and yeah, that's my point.
So you think it's a lifelong journey. What is your first language?
My first language is Hindi.
Hindi. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Hindi speakers also speak some English.
Yeah. These days, people are really trying hard to learn English
Why?
because of job purpose. First is just job purpose, and then people who really want to go abroad for their studies. And yeah, that two reasons are major. Yeah.
Great. So for you, what is the most difficult part of learning English?
Like I hate learning grammar through books, so that is difficult. And second thing is like pronunciation. I have that influence of mother tongue because in India there are different languages. In every state we speak different, so that really difficult to learn English, the exact accent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Well, thank you, Rasni.
And thank you so much. I have commented on one of your videos that I want to talk to you. And today I got that notification that you are live and then I joined. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for joining. And yeah, one more time for everyone who's here, if you would like to join our private chat over here, then you can go to Facebook and join our community there. So I'm going to send the link right now in the chat. Here's the link to join the community, and I'll put that over here on YouTube also. So so if you go to this link, chrisamericos.com/community, then you can find a funny picture of me, and you can also find your country in this list. You can find your country, and then when you click on your country, for example, let's go to Qatar. When you click on it, it'll take you to the Facebook group for your country. And then you can click to join this group. And if you write a comment, I want to be the representative of my country. If you write this and post it, then I will add you to our private chat, to our workspace, and then we can then you will know when we're going live here first, because we tell everyone in advance there. And also we might be able to work together to create a project in your country to help people learning English. So, okay, let's go to Sami Khan. Hi, Sami Khan. Hi, if you turn your microphone on, then we will be able to hear you. Yeah, you just
near
need
your country.
Hello, sir.
Hi, now I can hear you.
Hello,
Okay,
sir.
let's go to Sami
Hi.
Khan. Sami Khan,
How are you?
Good. How are you?
if you turn your microphone on, then we will be able to hear you.
Sounds like in the background you have the sound from YouTube. Maybe you want to turn the sound off of YouTube. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just near your country.
Hello, sir.
Hi, now I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Let's go to Sami
Okay.
Khan.
Sami Khan, you'll have to turn the sound off of YouTube while we're speaking.
How are you? If you turn your microphone on, then
Hello, how are you?
sounds like in the
Okay, I'm gonna just turn your microphone off right now until Sami Khan, when you are finished turning off the sound on YouTube, then we'll talk because we could hear it in the background. Okay, Antonio, welcome. Antonio,
Hello. Hi,
how are you?
Chris. Hi, everyone. I'm fine. Thanks. You?
Excellent. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Italy. This is my first time in your class. I already follow you on Facebook, but I never joined your class.
Well, welcome, Antonio, and
Thank you.
piacere.
Grazie.
Nice to meet you.
Piacere mio.
Cool. So what do you think? How long does it take to learn English?
How long I study English or how long we need to study English to improve?
Yeah. How
Okay.
long do we need to study English to know English?
I think that is a continuing improvement because we always have problems to listen, especially listen people from different country, and also with the pronunciation, we always need to improve our pronunciation. No?
Okay.
So I think that is a continuing improvement.
So it's never finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Italian too.
Yeah, like any language, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that you can learn to speak English from watching YouTube videos?
Yes. I think yes. I studied English at school, but I never been good with English. No. Now for work, sometimes I have to have some conference call with Indians, with people from other country, and I usually watch serie TV with English subtitle, or I try to listen music and read the test. And yes, I think that listen YouTube video is useful.
Great. Thanks, Antonio, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Maria, I want to talk to you before you disappear because I know it keeps disconnecting.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good. So how long do you think it takes to learn English?
I think it's a long-term journey. It's never stop ending process, and the language is constantly changing, it's evolving like anything else. So never stop learning, always evolving.
So for you, what do you think has been one of the most successful way for you to learn English?
You should, it's not about only one specific item of the language. It's all those four things: listening, reading, So it's all. Language depends on every and each aspect, like listening, reading, watching. It's not only one part, specific part of the language.
What do you think has helped you learn the most, though? For not which part of the language, but like which resource? Like school, university, private lessons, YouTube videos, radio, what?
I don't believe that our school can teach us language in the best way, because after learning language, I want to go back to my childhood. When I started learning language, it was at the grade 5th.
The 5th grade.
And after the ending of my school, I couldn't speak language properly. Honestly, I wasn't able to totally speak English. And even at the university, after 4 years of studying there, I still couldn't speak English. I couldn't understand English. I couldn't even understand what people say to me, even simple words and phrases. And my process of learning this language was just finding channels, finding channels on YouTube. And in this way, I started learning English. So grammar, if I needed to improve that skill, so I started learning grammar. If I wanted to improve my listening skills, then listening more, and so on. If you want to understand language, the best way is YouTube. That was for me. That worked with me this way.
Wow, that's really cool. Thanks, Maria.
Thanks to you.
So maybe next week sometime, I'm going to publish a video about how you can learn English on YouTube. My opinion about it. But until then, it's great to hear everyone else's opinion too. I saw Ashna was with us, but Ashna, do you want to if you want to come back and speak with us? Okay, later. All right. Sami Khan, have you turned off the YouTube sound in the background? Here, you can turn your microphone on and we can try again. Sami Khan, you'll have to turn your microphone on again. I saw you were playing around on Zoom. Maybe it's the first time on Zoom. Okay. Well, we'll come back when you're ready. And Irfan, are you here with us? I want to try to give everybody a chance to speak today who's here. Ashna? Great, if you're ready. Okay. Hi, Ashna.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, welcome.
I'm so sorry I'm not being able to turn on the video because the internet quality is very poor here.
No
So
problem.
speaking by turning off the camera.
It looked like you were in San Francisco.
No, I'm not. I'm from Nepal and I've come in a rural area of my country where the internet is not that stable. And I've joined using the data.
Okay. Well, thanks for using your data on us.
You're welcome and happy to join and see all of you.
So what do you think? How long does it take to learn English?
So my experience tells me that there is no fast way to learn English, and it will take time to improve no matter what particular section of English you want to learn, like speaking, reading, and writing. However, there are some things that motivated me to keep studying hard, and I would want to share that. First of all, I guess you should have a very clear goal and you should know the purpose of studying English. What is your purpose and what do you want to do after learning your language or English? Like in my context, I am very energetic and I have a sense of purpose and I wish to connect with different people around the world since teaching has been my profession, and this really requires the connection and new ideas, generation of new ideas from different nations instead of my only one point of view. And secondly, I really enjoy and reading English books, watching English movies, listening to music in the original and not translated version has really helped me import myself into studying English, and this has really helped me. And finally, it is very necessary to find your own ways of study. For example, I literally have my own schedule every day. I listen to the news, English news from BBC, and then I watch documentaries in English. Also, I do separate some time for the TED programs in the late evening.
TED
Meanwhile, reading
Talks.
English novels, literatures, and going to the cinemas for English movie has really helped me improve my pronunciation and build connectivity around the world.
So in Nepal, are there a lot of English language movies?
Yeah, we do have, and there are some organizations which shows free of cost as well, once a week in the theater. We don't really have to pay. Those are the documentaries shown by foreigners.
Cool.
And above all, learning English makes me happy. That's my interest. That's why I never get bored learning English.
Well, that's great.
That is why I've joined this group, and I'm really happy listening to everybody. Thank you so much for letting me join.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right, great. So thanks everybody again for being here. I want to go back to Michel. Michel is always with us from the beginning. He's always very active. Michel, how do you think our discussion went today? What do you think about it?
This kind of discussions was one of the reasons why I wanted to study second language acquisition at university, because it brought me, that was the kind of thing that brought me when I first started to learn English. It brought me a lot of language anxiety because I was hearing a lot of what I call bunch of crap when I first started to learn English. Because here in Brazil, usually in Brazil, we have this idea that you go to an offline English school and you're gonna do this course for 3 or 5 years. It really depends on the course. And then you're gonna do all the textbooks, you're gonna read all the textbooks, you're gonna do all the exercises, and you're gonna also do all the tests. And then after finishing all the program, or after finishing the whole course, we have this clear notion of the end of your learning, as if learning had an end, which is not true, but that's what most people think here. And then you get an English certificate that tells you that you supposedly learn English. You learned everything you needed to, and that's it. And that's kind of belief. It's kind of a little kind of treacherous. I think that's the word, because it makes people believe that learning has an end, which is not what I believe. And also makes people think that that's what learning is about. And that was what I believed in when 3 years ago, being actually speaking English for 3 years. And because I kind of start my whole life just to focus on English, because I even stopped practicing my Spanish skills because I wanted to focus 100% in English, because I thought that in 1 year it would be possible for me to become fluent in English. And when that didn't happen the way I thought it would, I started to deal with a lot of language anxiety. So basically, I needed to change my perspective of the way of how I see my perspective on English learning process. So, for example, nowadays I understand. I know that some people are gonna kill me for saying this, but I don't think that there's no specific time for fluency. A specific set time for achieving fluency goals. And also, there's no, it's not about taking specific steps to get to a certain level in which you can say, oh, now I know English, now I'm fluent, because fluency is not even something that you can measure. It's
Right.
measurable. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
for me personally, this is my perspective. It's so much more about qualitative rather than qualitative. You know what I mean?
I
It's not.
absolutely know
It
what you
has.
mean. Yeah.
It's connected to how well you can use. You can turn your passive English into active English, because you can know you can have a lot of passive English, and you can know a huge amount of vocabulary, a lot of grammar rules, and even so not have very little active English, not be able to speak it. Here's the case of a lot of English teachers here in Brazil. You learn English, but you don't speak. But also, I think that learning anything, it's not only with English, it can be related to any other skill, like playing the piano, performing as a singer on stage. It is connected to good habits. I mean,
True.
good learning habits. And that's what if it's not your second language, for example, you're always
Yeah.
gonna be in a position of a learner.
Michelle, that's really good. Thanks a lot. I think that's really true, and it's very good advice. It's good for everybody to hear that. Okay, let's go to Alisher, and then we'll start to finish our meeting today. Alisher, hi.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I connected very late.
No problem. Where are you joining us from?
Could you repeat your question?
Where are you from?
I'm from Uzbekistan, Central Asia.
Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I'm from Uzbekistan, Tashkent.
Tashkent. Uh-huh.
I've been learning English for 3 years. Since the first, I was in need of taking certificate to study abroad. I am also currently student in South Korea.
Oh, wow.
I study at computer engineering. Yeah.
And do you know Korean also?
I'm not very good at Korean, but I know some words that's very essential, that if you need to ask something in the street or anything like that, I can communicate a little bit, but not fluent yet. Yeah.
Have you been to Korea?
Yeah, I've been to Korea since
Wow.
the COVID started. I've taken leave of absence from university, and I kept continue my study online. Yeah, I have still left half semester, so I have to finish before getting my diploma.
Very cool. So how long do you think it takes to learn English?
Well, at the beginning, it was very hard to start English, but later, if you are low English and if you live with English, it's very easy, I guess. And not only concentrating on something like grammar or vocabulary, you have to be in the like community. Like you have to create something that makes your progress easier. Like you can watch movies, you can find friends, talk each other, try to find your mistakes and complete each other. So if this environment I'm mentioning, if you are able to create this environment, it will be very easy and short term to learn language, I guess.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. I'm still trying to make my English better these days. So yeah, I always follow your videos and it's very amazing. I'm really
Thanks.
grateful with your great teacher.
Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us here today too.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, so the last thing I want to say before we finish this call today is, I want everybody here to think about the result that you want to get from speaking English. Like Alisher just talked about, like Michelle was talking about. I want you to think about, why do you really need this? Like a lot of people just say, I need to speak English because everybody speaks English. I need to speak English because I want to travel. Okay, if you're traveling, then what exactly do you want to do when you travel, right? What's the goal? What's the result you want to get? So I want everyone to think about what really is the result that you're trying to get from studying English. Some people want to get a better job or get a different job. Some people want to move to another country. Some people want to study in a university or college. Some people have someone in their family who speaks a different language and they need to use English to communicate with someone in their family. There are a lot of different reasons. Some people need English for their business, right? Because maybe your business can find more customers, more clients if you use English. So think about the real reason why you want to use English and try to think about that when you speak with someone in English. Like, try to focus on the result that you're trying to get. And not only the big result, like those things that I just talked about, they're the big result, right? These are the reasons why you're learning English. But when you're speaking English in every situation, just like in your language, you don't usually just speak for no reason, right? If you just see a person walking down the street speaking for no reason, just speaking and speaking and speaking, usually people say like, oh, I don't, right? You walk to the other side of the street, like, oh, that's a crazy person that just speaking and speaking for no reason. So like in English, we need to remember that too, that like the thing that we say should be for a reason. There should be a result of why we're saying it. And we're trying to communicate some idea and get something from this communication, right? That's why we communicate, to get to some kind of result. So I think it's good to remember that and to be focused on what you're trying to do by speaking, right? Sometimes we're just speaking to build rapport. I'm going to write this phrase for everyone in case someone doesn't know this phrase. It's a French word, rapport. To build rapport, it means to build the connection, to grow the relationship, to get closer, right? So sometimes this is the reason that we're speaking. It's to build a connection with people. But in many cases, at work, for example, we speak because we need a result. So think about that and try to be more result focused with your speaking. Alisher brought up a good point. Community and connection with people can give you a good reason, good motivation to learn the language. And if you have very strong motivation, it makes it happen faster. And maybe not only faster, but it makes it feel like it's fun. It feels good. And if it feels good, then you will do it naturally. You'll do it more automatically because you like it, right? So if we can find that thing that makes us really enjoy the language, it's not going to be just speaking, right? That's a lot of people focus just on speaking. That's if your final goal is speaking, it's going to take a long time to learn how to speak. Your final goal should be something else, and speaking is just the method to get there. Speaking English is just the tool. It's just the process to get to the last thing. It's like every good business, money is not the final goal. Money is the process that they need to use this to reach the final goal. And the final goal is to help people to build something, to make something better, right? This is a big business, that's what it should be. Or if you think about government and politics, they don't tell you, I want to control people. They say, I want to change how the country works. I want to make people's lives better. Right? They have a bigger goal, and there's a process that they use to get to this bigger goal. So English is the process, English is the method, not the goal. I think that's important. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to this live call today. We will be back next Wednesday. We start at 8 a.m. New York time. So if you want to join us, you can come back. Also, just one more time, anybody who's here, we have a special community, a special closed workspace and chat, and we bring together people who represent different countries. So here is the link. Here's the link. I'm going to share the screen again and show everyone. So if you go to that link, which is chrisamericos.com/community, then you'll go to this page with my funny face and this red shirt, and you'll go down and you'll find this list of countries. Find your country here, for example, Burkina Faso, and it will take you to Facebook. There's a Facebook group for every country. You can see this group has 93 members. You click the button to join, and then if you want to be the representative of your country, just write a post. I want to represent my country, and post it, and you'll get a message from me, and I will invite you to our private community or a private chat here. And I'll invite you to the country chat. And the goal here is to talk about what's happening in different places in the world in English, and then later to have a project together about English reaching students and bringing together teachers and students in different countries. And people who are in this special workspace, which is free, I forgot to say that, people in this special workspace, they get notifications that we are going live and what we're going to talk about, and all of this information, we talk about that in advance. And I mean, they can speak directly to me here in these country groups. All right, so if that's something that you're interested in, click the link, go there, and I hope to see everybody again very soon. And we have lots of new videos coming out on YouTube soon, so I hope you watch them and share them with other people. And thanks a lot. Thanks for your support, and thanks for joining.